Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's story featured a very new interesting addition, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's going on with the Judgment Day, Kurt Angle, and more. Starting things off with the latest updates for Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This is a match that's been in the works and building up for legitimately the whole entire year. This is a feud that truly started right around Royal Rumble and has gone all the way until current day. And despite there being no title on the line, it's still a very exciting matchup that does feel like it has high stakes and quality storytelling to it. You can actually say that their feud started on the very first night of CM Punk's return at Survivor Series 2023. That was the night that CM Punk came out to make a surprise return to WWE. It was a surprise to fans and a surprise to even some of the superstars in the ring, who were completely unaware that Punk would be coming out and returning to WWE. And other than Punk himself, the main talking point about that night was how Seth Rollins lashed out and was cursing at CM Punk from the ring and had to be held back. And the other big talking point was the backstage report that Drew McIntyre stormed out of the arena this same night in frustration, some assume because of CM Punk's return. So it's pretty insane to think that everything between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre started all the way back at last year's Survivor Series. Everyone was talking about Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre's reactions to CM Punk's return. No one knew what was real or what was a work at that time, but somehow, real or not, WWE was able to tie it all together for this big SummerSlam program. And on top of all that context, Drew McIntyre says his hatred for CM Punk stems even deeper than what we see on camera. Drew McIntyre made a few references that he looked up to CM Punk back in the day in the early 2010s, but that Punk did something to him that completely changed his viewpoint of Punk. Drew never revealed what that thing was within the storyline, but he did make a general reference to that situation on a few occasions, and the story just continued to get deeper after that. CM Punk was the main reason Drew McIntyre lost the world title at WrestleMania, screwed him out of the world title in his home country, screwed him out of the Money in the Bank contract, and more instances like that. While Drew McIntyre had his fair share of small wins over Punk, such as brutally taking him out in front of his friends and family in Chicago, and even stealing that bracelet with AJ and Larry's names on it. So they both have a couple of wins over each other in the mind games department, but now it's time to take those months and even years of rage and use it in the ring at SummerSlam. Prior to his injury, Punk did compete at a few live shows and Royal Rumble, but SummerSlam will be CM Punk's first official singles match on WWE television in well over 10 full years. So CM Punk competing on WWE television in a singles match is something that hasn't been seen in a decade. Pretty crazy to think about, but that decade-long drought will come to an end at SummerSlam. And both men desperately need this win over each other. That's why the stakes feel high and feel like there's something on the line. Drew McIntyre wants to get revenge on Punk for the multiple occasions of costing him the world title, and for whatever happened between them long ago in the WWE locker room. CM Punk, on the other hand, wants to get Drew McIntyre back for everything he's done, and obviously wants to come out on top on his first WWE match in 10 years. Also can't forget about Seth Rollins' involvement. Seth will be the special guest referee for this match. And we previously spoke about how intriguing that is, because Seth doesn't get along with either McIntyre or Punk, so he doesn't have a favorite to pick from in this match at all. And the July 29th edition of Raw did a great job of highlighting that. Seth said that he equally despises both men, as much as they despise each other, so he's going to call the match down the middle. Seth Rollins also teased some exciting things for the match. Seth seemed to imply that he possibly could be very loose towards countouts and disqualifications. He teased that he could choose to enforce it, or he could choose not to enforce it. So just a little hint there from some foreign objects that may find their way into the match. And possibly that Drew McIntyre and CM Punk could take the action outside of the ring without facing any restrictions. Similar to how The Rock's character put some of that standard match rules on hold after he threatened the referee's job at WrestleMania 40. We could see moments in this match where the standard rules may just get thrown out the window temporarily. Drew and Punk weren't allowed to put hands on each other during the Raw before SummerSlam, and Drew used this fact to his advantage by holding up the bracelet to CM Punk's face. So that's another thing to remember here. Drew McIntyre is still in possession of the AJ Lee and Larry bracelet, so we'll have to see if Punk is able to take that back at SummerSlam after a victory, or if Drew McIntyre will be standing over CM Punk at SummerSlam with the bracelet still in his possession. Issues between the Judgment Day continued to heat up recently on Raw. There's lots of miscommunication and just overall confusion surrounding the whole group. This was evident when Carlito accidentally booked Dominic against Sami Zayn, when it was supposed to be Carlito versus Sami Zayn. We also saw more tension there between Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley over the fact that they were still battling Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Damian and Rhea felt like Jey and Sami are old news, and wondered why the group was still struggling to take care of them after all this time. Damian even stated that still dealing with Sami and Jey really feels like they're handling business backwards instead of progressing. We saw even more disconnection amongst the group when Damian Priest volunteered to accompany Finn Balor to the ring for his match against Gunther, but Finn turned it down. All these situations here just feel like more evidence that Finn Balor isn't really seeing eye to eye with Damian and Rhea's view of things right now. Given all the disagreements with Damian and Rhea, as well as all the suspicious behavior with Liv Morgan, that's what makes it seem like the Judgment Day can't really trust Finn Balor right now. At least Damian and Rhea can't. So we may continue to see disagreements and other things that continue to hint at that Finn Balor may be looking to gain full uncontested leadership of the group. In other news, Kurt Angle made surprising reveals this week on his show. Kurt Angle revealed that WWE did in fact approach him several years ago with the pitch of having him manage Matt Riddle. Angle says he was very excited for the opportunity and was down for it. He felt like they could create a lot of funny moments together, but that what stopped it from happening was some financial disputes. Angle said that it wasn't that the money was insulting, but that the pay that they were offering him really wasn't up to par for what he thought he deserved for that role. Kurt Angle says he would still be down to return to WWE television full-time in a manager role for anyone if the money is right this time around. Of course, the very popular fan choice for Kurt Angle right now would be for him to manage Chad Gable. That's something that's been talked about all year long, and Angle has even addressed that fan idea on several occasions. But if they do want Angle to do anything like that, the pay has to be right this time around. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.